continuing the entry of Bet Midrash, the house of study. He says, we said last time, a person has to have a set place to learn in a group, and he has to have a shiur, and it's very good for people who don't know how to learn on their own. They should get somebody to teach them, and get somebody to finish books, to learn Gemara with them, learn Musar, learn a lot of halachot. That way, even though if you can't learn by yourself, at least someone should teach you. It says, that way they'll be able to mekayem, be'gita bo yomam alayla. The Torah commands us in Sefer Yeshua that you have to go and learn the Torah, study day and night. Now, a person has to know that you have to try and make the most effort not to miss. Chazal tell us that if you leave the Torah one day, the Torah also leaves you one day. That means that if you didn't come shiur one day, it's as if you didn't come 2 days. It will be that much harder to come back. Why? Because when you missed one day, it's very easy for you to say the next day, okay, I missed yesterday, I'll miss today also. What's the problem? I didn't die, nothing happened, nobody would miss me, nobody needed me. Therefore, a person has to make sure that he has a streak. He has to continue the trend going up and up. Imagine you have a businessman, he comes and he makes you money, and he makes you a deal, and he makes good money the first day, the next day he doesn't show up. Say, hey, where'd you go? You gotta come every day to make the same money. You can't, gotta keep the trend going. You can't just jump ship in the middle. What kind of job? Imagine you sign up for a job, and you tell them, yeah, today I come, the next day I don't come. What's going on? You need to get work done. You come every day. So therefore a person has to be the same thing for the Torah learning. How much more so? He says, you have to learn halacha properly. We said before one time, the Khatam Sofer explains why did they did the sin of the Etz Hadat, the tree of knowledge. It's because they didn't know halacha properly. He says, how? He says, really Adam Rishon was commanded by Hashem not to eat from the tree. But when Adam Rishon told Chava not to eat from the tree, he added something. What did he add? Don't touch the tree. So when Chava got pushed into the tree by the snake, she thought, wow, she thought that this is from Hashem, that you're not allowed to touch the tree, and I did it, nothing happened to me, and that's how he convinced her, also eat from the tree, nothing's going to happen to you. But if she would have known that really Hashem commanded, don't eat, Adam Rishon added, don't touch, this is the right, this is the Rabbanan, she wouldn't have made that mistake, that she would have thought, oh, just like this, nothing happened to me, this also nothing happened to me. So you see, from not knowing halacha, what's the right of the Rabbanan, ended up being the sin of the tree of knowledge. Therefore, you see, a person has to make sure to know halacha. And a lot of times we learn halacha and learn a lot of things and say, Rabbi, what does make a difference? Why do you have to know all these things? Realize everything in the Torah has its place and has its meaning, and therefore we have to go and study it. The Rabbi Natan Rebresev explains that the importance of learning halacha is that in halacha, what do? You have this opinion, that opinion, this opinion, that opinion, and then we have a whole, and then we have to come and do Shulchan Aruch. We have to follow the final conclusion. What's the conclusion, Rabbi? What's halacha, right? So therefore, he says, why is that important? Because it teaches us a skill in life. In life, a lot of times you go through difficult situations. Babulia says this, Ochamo says this, uncle says this, cousin says this, your wife says this, and you have a billion opinions. Your head is spinning already. But since you learned in halacha how to push away the opinions that don't matter or are wrong, and you take one opinion, this is what you follow, you learn in life how to do this also. And you stick to what your rabbi says, or you know what's good, you know in your gut what's the right thing to do, and you're able in life to just say, okay, that's your opinion, this is my opinion, this is what I do. And when you're able to do this in halacha, you're going to be able to do this in every part of your life as well. So that's why he says it's very important to learn halacha in order to have clarity and have conclusions in life. People who are every day not knowing where they are, not knowing what path they're going, and not knowing what their conclusion, what their goal is, learning halacha will help them very much come to that conclusion and make that path decision. So he says, you have to go you have to go and sit in the house of study properly, because you have to pay attention to the speaker. You have to have derech eretz to the speaker. A lot of times people schmooze, a lot of times people are on the phone, a lot of times spacing out, fall asleep. It's not derech eretz to the speaker when you're doing all these things. So therefore a person who's a bet midrash has to have that in mind. And we know the Masechet Megillah Chav Zayin Amud Aleph 27a tells us that Gdula Kedushat Midrash Yeter Mikdushat Bet Knesset. The house of study's holiness is a higher level than the shul's holiness. So therefore, a person has to treat the house of study an even more higher level. So therefore, there's no room for making dirty jokes or making going and acting inappropriately. If he doesn't act that way in the shul, how much more so in the house of study? Baruch